Again, Kersey starting. When Kersey has been healthy, the Sonics are a better team, perhaps their most physical player, and they'll certainly need him in the postseason and today. Jerome Kersey helping out on the offensive end. Stoudemire still bothered by the sprained ankle. Says he's about 85 to 90%. Of course, missed 10 games a couple of months ago, and the Blazers really struggled without him.
Where the Sonics hurt the Trailblazers is in the decision-making area. But they've started the ball games off with their guards attacking. Tough shot for Stoudemire goes in.
Payton for three. Gary Payton rattles it in. He has not been shooting well from three-point range in recent weeks. If this team is on from three-point range, they're almost unbeatable.
Well, if they're making their threes, they're going to win the ball game. But with Payton, it's gum-smacking, lip-talking, and when he's that way, he's in for a real big afternoon.
Stoudemire misfires. Brian Grant, the hustle rebound, and Kersey with the foul. Kersey's first, team's first, and this crowd very much into this game at the start.
You have to remember, this is a rivalry and a very heated one, and the Sonics have had the Trailblazers number. They've been able to come down here, walk the dog on them, so the fans would like nothing better than to see the Blazers win this afternoon and keep them from getting the division title. Percy Hawkins a foul.
Hawkins, an excellent defender, picks up his first. Ryder will try and test him. George Karl knows his team not playing all that well as they hit down the final stretch. Feels a little mental, a little physical fatigue. Let's get on with the playoffs, he says, as Ryder dribbles it off his foot. But Seattle, again, this game is so important for their postseason. Just a couple of days ago, Steve, they thought they might have home court throughout the entire playoffs. Now, if they lose today and the Lakers win, they'd only have home court in the first round.
Now, and you know, when you look at them and you think that they've had the best record for most of the season throughout the NBA, and suddenly to slip in the last third of the season, you know it's a mental letdown, and that team has always been questioned about their mental toughness. You take a look at the best records in the league. The Utah Jazz have prevailed by winning some huge games for them, and there are the Sonics just waiting on the edge.
Payton looking to post up Ryder. Tough fall-away shot. Wallace, quick outlet, Stoudemire. Blazers will look to run. David Stoudemire. Ryder with the second effort. Pass stolen by Kersey. The former Blazer hard to the basket. And Jerome Kersey with his second field goal.
One thing that Kersey has always been able to do throughout his career is hustle, and he plays harder than anybody else. And when you, again, throw in the age factor, this guy should not be making steals. He should not be jumping in passing lanes and making things happen, but he's been able to do it. And the Sonics need that special energy that Kersey brings.
Kersey along the baseline. Vin Baker right there for the follow. Of course, if you talk about one weakness of the Sonics, obviously, if they're not shooting well, that's going to hurt, but they've got to become a better rebounding team as they're on a 7-0 run right now.
Everyone talks about rebounding, but let's go back to the Houston Rockets and the championship teams that they had. They were amongst the poor rebounding teams in the league, but when they're able to dominate their opponent with their style of play, rebounds don't matter. Wallace with a miss.
Sabonis is fouled on his follow. And Arvydas Sabonis will shoot a couple. Payton picks up his first. How much is their weak rebounding, how much does that have to do with their defensive style?
Well, I think it's a combination of their defensive style and their offensive play. It's important when you're a deep shooting team to make a high percentage of shots, because you're probably going to get out rebounded when you miss because the other team has inside position. They like to force turnovers, they like to run, and when they can do that, they also then make up for their lack of size because they're getting easy buckets.
Sabonis is 79% free throw shooter. Not bad for a guy his size. Connects on both. 3-point lead for the Sonics. Played a little over 3 minutes in the opening quarter. Kersey's got Grant on him. Kersey looking for his offense early. Ball deflected around several times. Then Baker. And the Sonics really hitting the boards, although Sabonis, quick outlet, 3-on-2. Wallace. A quick pace in the opening minutes.
And the two guys the Sonics have to bring into the game in order for it to be a victory for them, Detlef Schrempf and Hersey Hawkins.
Kersey again. Jerome Kersey off to a terrific start. He's got 6 points, 3 of 5 from the field.
And those are all considered bonus points. If you go in the offensive priority, he's not on the chart. He shouldn't be shooting. And so they've gotten 6 quick points from him.
Nice feed down low. Brian Grant and a pretty assist from Rasheed Wallace.
Good patience, and that's what the Trailblazers have to demonstrate when they're forced to set up. If they can move the ball, move themselves, they can take advantage of their size.
That's something they did not have the other night in Denver in their second straight loss to the Nuggets.
Baker likes to get Sabonis outside, try to bring it to the basket, lost control of the ball.
Good transition defense from Seattle. And the Blazers to set up. 3-point Seattle lead. Ryder. Nobody stepping in to help out. A 1-point game. Detlef Schrempf. A reaching foul call. Wallace right there. We'll have our first timeout. A little over 6.5 remaining here in the first.
You know, for the start of this ball game, you have some unexpected offensive heroes. For Jerome Kersey, he is the leader, and Brian Grant putting the cap on it to keep the Trailblazers close. The best in the league at it. This guy gives them a punch that they weren't expecting at the start of the season and can ill afford to have when the postseason starts.
Kersey does a good job keeping it alive. Stacey Augmon you see in the game. Stoudemire deflects it. Good help on defense from Stoudemire. They're looking for Wallace on. Beautiful feed. Sabonis blocked by Kersey. Crowd wanting a call. Kersey again dared to shoot. I would say he's fairly comfortable in this city.
Well, he's turned back the clock. Kersey is playing like he did when he was 25 years old. Made a nice steal down there against Sabonis. Came down, finished it off with a bucket. So they've gotten more than they bargained for from Jerome Kersey here in the opening quarter.
First 11 years of his career, Sabonis can't handle a pass for Kersey right here in Portland. They drafted him in the second round. And they are daring him to shoot again. 3-point Seattle lead. 5.5 remaining in the first.
Kersey might be showing a little bit of fatigue right now as he has been all over the place. Fouled. Detlef Schrempf trying to deal with Rasheed Wallace down on the low post.
Wallace tough to deal with on the low post. It's been an inconsistent team for Portland, Steve, but Wallace is one guy who's been fairly steady.
Wallace is probably the most complete frontline player that they have, in that he's got versatility and can play all 3 positions. He passes the ball well, shoots a very high percentage, rebounds it, and blocks shots.
You saw Sam Perkins check in. Kersey will sit down. Easy, too, for Stacey Augmon. Excellent ball movement for the Blazers.
Each time Portland has had that patience, made that extra pass, they found that guy right in the slot on top of the basket for an easy score. Looking for Schrempf against Ryder.
Trailblazers have been tough at home at times. They've won 4 in a row here at the Rose Garden. Ayton, another 3. Sabonis, good job on the boards. He's got 4 rebounds already. Ryder, wide open.
What the Sonics don't do as much as they used to is run the basketball, a transition bucket for Detlef Schrempf, his first of the afternoon.
Schrempf, of course, one of those guys, when you play with a Baker and a Payton, you don't always get the notice, but George Karl says he's never as secure as when Schrempf is out on the floor.
Well, he's got a couple of security blankets. One is Nate McMillan, the other Detlef Schrempf, and both of them are very smart, very consistent performers. Ryder, aggressive early. When he's that way, Portland's going to get big numbers from him.
Seattle 1-point lead. Sonics shooting 50% from the field here to start.
Now this is a matchup that has taken place a lot of times in the summer down in Oakland. Payton against Ryder, sits on the shot clock.
And a foul on the pass-off. Ryder upset. Excellent defense up to the final seconds. Crowd not liking the call.
whenever Portland has taken the time, moved the ball, they have found the hole in the Sonic defense, and they've had a high flyer on the finishing end. First it was Grant, this time it's Stacey Augmon. Wallace, second personal foul, he'll have to sit, and in comes Brian Grant. Wallace not happy, and he's had a tough time with the officials, particularly in the latter third of the season.
One of the leaders in the league in technicals is Baker. Finds his way through. Vin Baker. I think one of the surprising things about Baker this year, Steve, is he's playing on a team with established all-stars, yet he's a co-captain, but he's also become the go-to guy.
You know, he has great game finishing abilities with the ability to put the ball on the floor against centers and power forwards, shoot over the top. He's an ideal candidate. Ryder.
Missing the wide-open shot. Ryder 3 of 6 to start. Hawkins seeing the mismatch with Stoudemire, but Augmon bumps him. A lot of contact, still Sonic's ball.
Vin Baker gives Sabonis a lot of problems because of his ability to deal off the dribble. Will get a little angle, lean in, and nothing but money for him. A tough matchup for Arvydas Sabonis.
Shrimp, tough matchup for Stacey Augmon. Shrimp fighting every step. Shot clock at 4. Baker with Sabonis in his face, puts it in. Tough shot for Baker. Sabonis was all over him. And the Sonics lead is back to 5. Stoudemire a little out of control. Lateral movement is not one of Arvydas Sabonis' strengths. He's got many of them, but that's not one.
He doesn't like to come out and find the guy on the outside. Baker makes him pay.
Home Depot's philosophy is cutting edge. What does the customer want? We always got something new coming out on the floor.
Things that you were wishing would get on the market, and then all of a sudden, wow, there it is.
It's important to give the customer everything needed to do any project around their home.
Like great. Suddenly the Lakers have taken flight, and it comes down to the final day of the regular season for George Karl's team to hang on to that division title.
And the Blazers win and the Lakers win. They'll get to face Seattle. The Blazer lost regardless of the outcome of the LA game that faced the Lakers in the first round. Payton, three-pointer off the mark. Grant, good boxing out, tipping it to himself. 5-point lead for the Sonics, just under 2.5 remaining in the first. Portland 0 for 3 from downtown. Sabonis, Ryder, way off the mark. They get 0 for 4 from three-point range. Scramble by Grant. Excellent hustle from Grant, and they'll get a new 24.
No, a shot clock violation because the ball never hit the rim. And Vin Baker coming out of that scramble looks as though he strained maybe a groin, but going to try to walk it off.
24-second shot clock violation.
There, Baker with the slight limp there. Quickly, Perkins down low, draws the foul on Grant and 1. The Blazers not expecting it.
A quick heads-up play by Payton. The Trailblazers a little slow getting back in transition. A quick pop ahead to Perkins, and Perkins pulling that old sage move. Let me put the ball underneath your arm and draw the foul. He'll have a chance for a three-point play.
Perkins certainly has his share of those. Now his 14th year in the league. The battle by Grant. Augmon leading the break.
Mistakes have always hurt the Trailblazers against the Sonics over the last 8 meetings. And what Stoudemire is going to try to do is cut down on the airs with the basketball. They'll try to take advantage of their size inside. 4 on the shot clock.
Ryder. Grant just gets it off in time, but doesn't hit anything. So that's the 7th turnover. They've averaged 20 turnovers a game in the first 3 against Seattle, and they've already got 7 here in the first quarter.
And that's always been something that's given the Sonics the edge. The fact that the Trailblazers may make mistakes early and be behind, or in an even contest, make the wrong decision that gives the Sonics a slight edge, and they've been able to get out with a win.
Just under a minute and a half remaining, opening quarter. Baker says he likes to play against Sabonis. Nice move from Baker, won't go down, gets his own rebound.
3 times, and Baker finally finishes the play. So he's got 8 1/4. But the reason he likes to play against him is just that. He can put the ball on the floor. Sabonis is going to have trouble with that initial first step, and then he's going to be in control at the offensive end.
An 8-0 run. The lead is 9, largest here in the first. Stacey Augmon. Stoudemire.
Oh, push!
Ryder may have gotten away with a push. Nate McMillan trying to.
Now the double teaming is giving Portland problem right now. They're going to get a foul against Sabonis.
So Sabonis a little frustrated with those double teams.
You know, they like to talk about people that can dance with the basketball. For Ben Baker, that is a specialty against big people. You know, you get him outside, you can go in, and he stayed with that one 3 times. He finally gets it down. 3 offensive rebounds or 2.
Baker will go to the Perkins will go to the line, but talking about Baker, and Lisa Milosky touched on this earlier as Perkins gets the roll. Who will be the next NBA champs? If you think you have the answer, visit NBA.com this week and enter the playoff pick and roll game presented by Adidas. Pick the winner of every series. You can win limited edition NBA playoff and finals prizes.
Mike, have you picked your winner?
Not yet.
Oh,
I'm a procrastinator. 10-0 run here for the Sonics in the final minutes.
Wanting the ball on the post and really pushing, shoving with Nate McMillan. McMillan gets the whistle blown against him. Sabonis is saying, what does it take to get a call? And big guys usually don't have this much problem with Nance, but he is having one bite him all over the place before he finally gets a whistle. Trip to the line for Sabonis' second time this afternoon.
That's one of your more clever Nats, though. Dave McMillan is Sabonis, as we said, an excellent free throw shooter for a big man. Gary Grant, who's been a nice pickup for this team as a point guard backup because of the injury to John Crotty. He checks in for the first time. Sabonis free throws and the 10-0 run. Well, the Blazers still down by 9. Just under a half minute remaining.
Kersey has come back in the ball game. Detlef Schrempf is down. Payton is going to hold. There's about a second differential between game and shot clock. Sonics looking for the final shot of the quarter.
Shot clock at 5. Perkins wide open for 3. McMillan has plenty of time. And there's the buzzer. Up-tempo first quarter. And some extracurricular activity between Baker and Sabonis. And then Baker with 8 points. Very aggressive on the offensive boards. Isaiah Ryder missed a couple of open shots for the Trailblazers. 10-0 run, a key in this one in the final minutes. 25-16, Seattle hoping for the Pacific Division crown. They lead after 1. You're watching the NBA on NBC.
Sure to have an edge going into the final game.
Just his second start of the season, starting at forward as Arvydas Sabonis and Kersey, and also Vin Baker showing a little temper at the end of the first quarter. Nothing really happened. Officials separating them.
Edge is what it's called, and both teams have a little edge about them this afternoon because the game is so important. For Portland, winning gives them the Sonics and gives them a chance to say, we can beat you, and maybe have a chance to make that statement in the playoffs. Shot clock at 7.
Blazers just shooting 33% in the first quarter. Ball deflected out. Still Blazer ball with 3 on the shot clock. Let's send it to Lisa Milosky.
Thanks, Mike. Sonics coach George Karl in the huddle telling his players, Blazers getting a little frustrated with their double teams. Keep battling on the offensive end. Pick up the tempo if you can. He said, get it up and down the court a little bit faster. Mike?
3 on the shot clock, Mike.
Walt Williams trying to find Grant. Grant knowing, quickly puts it up. And Grant, Brian, that is the rebound. Last touch by Payton. And it's still Blazer ball. You know, with all the talk about the Sonics and their three-point shooting and their rebounding problems, they're still defensively as good as it gets when they're on their game.
Really, the key to the Sonics is their ability to force teams to make mistakes with their double team, get out in the open court, run the ball, Ryder deep.
Ryder with McMillan in his face, knocks it down. Ryder with 8 points. Blazers down by 7. Opening minute here in the second.
Trying to find Ben Baker. 9 on the shot clock.
Baker one-on-one with Wallace. They send some help. Blocked from behind. Rasheed Wallace. Williams stripped and fouled. Williams, that other guy in that Stoudemire deal. Not a bad other guy.
Whenever you're moving the basketball and you get a guy like Ryder who can just raise up and torch you, you get a sense that you can come back in the ball game anytime. And he's a very explosive offensive player. He's good for 15, 16 in a quarter when he's on.
See the Lakers with the 9-point lead in the second. Walt Williams knocking down the first.
You know, their eyes are this way. very seldom does Hollywood look north, but they are looking at their scoreboard and the scoreboard here to see what happens between the Sonics and the Trailblazers. A win gives them the Pacific Division title.
And don't think Utah isn't playing hard, because they want to even the season series with the Lakers, and quite frankly, Jerry Sloan just hates to lose any game.
Sloan is not the kind of guy that wants to go into a game with the idea of laying down.
Payton underneath, blocked by Grant. Payton wanted a foul. Grant, excellent help defense. Blazers on a little run here to start in the second.
Against a harassing defense, you've got to play with some calm and make sure you move the ball, get that extra pass, then try to rebound the ball.
Payton off the Williams miss. See Greg Anthony in the game with Payton. Anthony normally backing him up.
With the exception of that opening bucket, they have not been able to get offense going for Gary Payton.
Shot clock down to 8. Perkins finds his way in. Kersey's deflected by Wallace. Wallace and Grant playing some terrific inside defense. Deflected out. It'll still be Portland ball. And we'll take a break. Just over 2 minutes gone by. Second quarter for Portland. Blazers now within 5.
Doubleheader next Saturday, tripleheader next Sunday, the NBA playoff.
So a slow start from downtown today for the Sonics. Blazers have come out, score the first 4 points here in the second. Grant, nice feed to Wallace. He thread the needle. And a 6-0 run to start here on the second quarter for Portland.
Again, the patience of the Trailblazers when they make that extra pass, an easy score is there for them. When they shoot quickly, the Sonics take control of the game. So Portland's on a run. Nate McMillan can't finish.
Another block shot. Williams and Wallace in the vicinity. Ryder slips. Lost it. Williams lost it. Somehow tips it to Brian Grant. They'll set it up.
Ryder slapping himself upside the head, saying, you know, come on, play with a little control. He's got Sam Perkins in front of him.
Deflection by McMillan. Say what, the knock on the Blazers, they don't come to play every night. They have come to play today. Anthony for 3. Greg Anthony from downtown, their second three-pointer.
And, you know, George Karl likes the pickup of Anthony, and he likes the way Anthony's been playing here of late, giving him a big shot in the arm when Payton has had to go down.
Not only energy from Anthony, a good defender, but he has a knack for hitting a big 3 in terms of momentum swings. Ryder forces it. Kersey, tough rebound in traffic. Jerome Kersey on the drive. Perkins keeps it alive. Drawing the foul. And Sam Perkins will shoot 2.
You have to have ball movement, player movement, and recognition of when somebody's open. Wallace is a leading high percentage field goal shooter in the league and the leader for the Trailblazers, and it's because he's a guy that doesn't take a lot of shots, but he makes a lot, and he stays in his range and within his capabilities.
But he's got the 3 fouls. Again, next weekend, NBA playoffs tip off on NBC. It all starts Saturday, NBA showtime, 12:30 Eastern. Then a playoff doubleheader starting at 1 Eastern. Sunday coverage begins at 12 noon with NBA showtime, followed by a playoff tripleheader all next weekend on NBC Sports. Wallace will sit down with the 3 fouls. Sabonis back in.
It's a tough run. The Trailblazers need Wallace out on the floor, and Dunleavy can't afford to have him pick up another one here with 32 minutes left in this ball game to play.
Perkins connecting. Sam Perkins, who has said if Seattle wins the title this year, that's it. As he says, it'll be fade to black on his career.
Now Sabonis is back in. They haven't gotten the benefit of Sabonis' passing or his scoring here early in the ball game.
Stoudemire. Walt Williams left open for three. The long rebound goes to Grant. Deflected again inside. Good hands from the Sonics. And Gary Grant getting a piece of shrimp.
And Portland would like to have a consistent deep threat. It's going to come in the presence of J.R. Rider or Walt Williams. And so Mike Dunleavy is hoping that one of those guys will strike a match consistently from the perimeter for him.
Yes, Dunleavy, the number one area for improvement for the postseason, consistent outside shooting. As Anthony in and out. Kersey able to get it. A lot of contact again. Crowd screaming.
Well, the crowd has seen Kersey come up with a lot of loose balls over the years, and you can almost bet if there's a ball on the floor, he's out on the court, he'll be close to it, he'll make something happen. Foul, going to be Sabonis.
So Sabonis picks up his second. Shrimp will go to the line.
This ball will bounce back out. Kersey gets his hand on it, and now they're able to start play again. But if he's around, he's also going to knock some people down in the process.
The word that George Karl uses so often for shrimp is efficient. You can say consistent as well. Even though his numbers have gone down, in some ways he's more efficient because of different roles that he's had.
They've asked him to play a different role, but when they need a big basket or big play, you can almost count that Shrimp is going to be somewhere involved in the play in the closing moments for George Karl.
The versatility of Shrimp, as a coach, Karl loves it. The free throws give Seattle a 7-0 run, and the lead is back up to 10.
And this will characterize this game this afternoon, a game of runs. It's characterized the season series between the two. Grant, big rebound.
Williams will get a second chance. Shrimp the rebound, loose ball foul. They're going to stay right there. It's going to go against Shrimp. Shrimp furious with the call as George Karl cannot believe it.
Now, Shrimp saying, I've got inside position. How are you going to call against me, against Brian Grant? That is a second personal foul against Detlef Shrimp.
Second team foul. Grant and Shrimp going at it.
Now what Portland can't do is become a perimeter team. They got to try to get inside somehow. They got to make it happen. Kersey rebound.
Hawkins just got a piece of that Stoudemire shot as it recovered nicely. Tell you what, Jerome Kersey is having a terrific afternoon. Perkins, 37-year-old Sam Perkins with authority.
Now, that's why they want to pull Sabonis out on the perimeter. They know the first step, little pump fake will get him. He goes up on his toes, and Sam Perkins got the hammer cocked, and he said, just for old time's sake.
A 9-0 run for the Seattle Supersonics. 6.5 remaining second quarter. The lead is up to 12.
90% chance, 80% chance, 100% chance that you will play for the playoffs?
Oh, I'll be prepared. I'll be ready for the playoffs. I won't miss a game.
You'll be ready. Let's go back to you, Mike.
All right, Lisa. You didn't sound all that confident earlier. Okay, I'll be ready. No problem. It's Perkins. Sabonis the rebound. Grant, who just hit that three. Stoudemire. Tough move from Damon Stoudemire. Stoudemire's second field goal.
Portland a different team when they can get in the open court and run, and they need to try to take advantage of their youth against the age of the Sonics.
Detlef Shrimp way off Rider, hands it to Grant. That's been a problem for them in terms of finding what kind of team they want to be all year, Steve.
You know, you have to be able to have an identity, and even when you're plugging people in, consistently stay with that style, and their style has been up and down, and when they've been forced to play half court, they've had a tough time getting inside. Sabonis will get a foul.
Sabonis, 3 facial expressions, 2 steps, and 1 hard foul.
What they like from Damon Stoudemire is the ability to make plays in the open court. An adjustment on his part will get a beauty to go in. His first hoop in the second quarter.
And you see Wallace with the 3 fouls. The difference he makes for this Trailblazer team. Seattle taking advantage, as you see, when Wallace is on the bench. Perkins picks up his first.
Sabonis is a player, as big as he is, that, because of all of his injuries, he doesn't like physical play. And when he's offensively good and his numbers have come up this season, he's having his best NBA season, it's because he likes to catch the ball on the move. He can make a quick move either to go to the basket, hook shot, or pass the basketball. If you're going to get to him and frustrate him, it's when you double him, that's when you put bodies on him. He doesn't like that kind of play.
He's averaging 32 minutes per game this season. Last year, 25 and a half, but he seems to be handling the extra minutes very well.
He has said he could play as many as necessary, and he has proven this season he's had games in the 50s where he can play a long time and come back and play well the next night. Shrimp.
Easy, too, for Detlef Shrimp. The lead is 7 for Seattle. Just under 5 minutes remaining in the second. Along with Steve Jones and Lisa Miloski, Mike Reed on hand. The Rose Garden in Portland. Playoff implications for both teams.
This game, Mike, this afternoon is about will and which team can impose their will on the opponent. Ryder with a deep miss.
Right now, the Blazers 1 of 8 from three-point range.
When you talk about will, you got to go both ways. The offensive player's got to be able to impose his will on a defensive player. Ogman bodying all the way, but the winner is Detlef Shrimp.
Anthony and Payton remain in the backcourt along with Hawkins. 3 guards plus Baker and Shrimp on the floor right now for the Sonics.
Now they've got Sabonis out on the floor. You know they're going to think drive.
Hawkins stripped from behind by Grant. Still Seattle ball, 7 left on the 24. That's part of the addition Gary Grant brings Portland. He's a very solid defender.
Very solid defender, but Hersey Hawkins needs to be more aggressive at the offensive end for George Karl. Shot clock at 3.
Foul. Sabonis just got a piece of the arm on Baker. He winces, but he hit him. And that's a 3rd foul on Sabonis, so severe foul woes right now for Mike Dunleavy. Sabonis and Wallace each with 3.
The rainmaker at the end of the quarter set this up, because normally he wouldn't run out at Vin Baker like this, but Baker launched that when it went down. He's thinking, I can't let him get another one in, and picks up the foul.
Both teams shooting the free throws well, the early going, although Baker, not a terrific free throw shooter by any stretch. There's the numbers between Baker and Kemp now with the Cleveland Cavaliers, who's been a big part of that young team's success.
It's very seldom that both teams benefit by a trade the way that these teams have. The Sonics got a great player that gives them a little bit more versatility than Shawn Kemp gave them, gives them a little bit better mental health, and suddenly the Cleveland Cavaliers get a big finishing player in Shawn Kemp. So both teams worked very well in that summer trade.
Shrimp, another offensive rebound. Detlef Shrimp providing the energy. Ryder may have gotten a piece of it. Ogman hauls it in. 8-point lead for Seattle. Just over 3.5 remaining in the second. And there you see Seattle.
I thought they weren't a good rebounding team.
Another offensive foul on Stacey Ogman.
You see there, isn't that the leader if you're at the bottom? The leader is being the worst offensive rebounding team in the league. Ogman picked up a foul, almost made a steal coming the other way. The Sonics.
And they say last touch by Greg Anthony. Danny Crawford coming in to talk to Joe DeRosa. A little official conference. He'll try and get away from the players. DeRosa immediately signaled last touch by Anthony. It would be Portland ball.
I like the way they try to get away from the players. The players come right to him. This is Honey. No, I'm not going to let you get away. I remember what you said. Now, what do you have?
This is the right thing to do. Good teamwork. Talk it over. Make your decision. That's why you've got 3 guys. George Karl doesn't like it, but Portland will get it. Of course, you last week had an interesting conference of officials at the tail end of the game down in Miami.
Yeah, a conference that went the wrong way if you're a New York Knicks fan. If you're Pat Riley, you did the right thing. Let's go. We won. Get off the floor. Almost a steal by Anthony.
Grant throws it heads, and Brian Grant able to come up with a loose ball.
Yeah, Stoudemire checked the shot clock, as you know, a lot of time's gone off. They're under 10 now.
Brian Grant gets the roll. Grant trying to come back from injuries. Just starting to get his confidence back. He's healthy. And it's such a physical player.
Yep. Ryder has done a very good job on Payton. They're going to get a foul against Grant. Grant is saying, no, don't call that. Please don't call that.
Grant will pick up the personal.
Grant is a very good low post player, and when he can get a ball, get a rhythm, good things happen for him. This one is nice and soft, bounces in, but Ben Baker's going to come back to the line. The Portland front line has got to be careful. They're picking up fouls very quickly. That's the second one on Grant. You've got Sabonis down, Wallace down, there goes Desai.
So Baker to the line. You know, Steve, everyone talks so much about Shaquille O'Neal at the free throw line. Ben Baker is only a 59% shooter from the line, and here's a go-to guy who you know is going to be at the free throw line in the closing minutes of big playoff games.
The same word applies to him. It applies to Shaquille O'Neal. Awful. But you'd think that Ben Baker, who is a better, deeper shooter than O'Neal, would have a better touch. It's both a mental thing for both of those players, and they have not been able to get over it yet.
Under 3 minutes remaining, opening half. Very physical, as expected. Stoudemire. Rebound grabbed again. Brian Grant, the follow. Brian Grant says he wants people to remember him as a player. Man, that kid works hard. He is working hard here in the first half.
You've got to have some good luck also. And for Portland, they got a good bounce that time as the Sonics knocked each other off the ball, and Grant was right there for the finish. Back to Baker.
Grant just enough physical presence as Baker misfires.
Now, Ryder wants this one. Anytime you wave a guy off, and they're going to keep him from getting a shot in the air, Portland takes a 20-second timeout.
So they call the 20. Grant slams the ball, but I think he was upset with his teammates not coming over to help. Nothing any official made, and Joe DeRosa sensing that does not form the letter T with his two hands. 2:05 remaining, second quarter. Blazers now back within 6.
Outspoken gentlemen who have a lot to say to the officials.
Gary Grant nails his second three-pointer. Grant providing a real spark. That's a problem the Blazers have to work out with, not letting the officials get to them. Chris Wallace had 21 techs as a rookie. He seemed to settle down, but he's right back to it this year.
Last year he made a commitment to leave the officials alone, but they seem to have been able to get to him this season, and he has been very lippy along with Ryder, and it's cost him big hoop by Gary Grant to bring the Blazers within 3.
Stoudemire. Augman spinning. The unorthodox move from Augman. And Trent deflects it to Anthony. A little over a minute remaining. Ben Baker, pretty pass down low. Baker feeling some contact as well after the shot.
Every time Portland has gotten close, the Sonics have come up with a big play. Portland on a run.
Stoudemire pushing.
Augman.
Nice finish from the UNLV product, Stacey Augman. Payton the other way. Payton is 1 of 5. Only 3 points. Has not looked for a shot all that much.
He looked early, and it wasn't there. But in the games that have been played over the last 8 meetings, Payton has been a surging type of player. Big steal, Grant.
Gary Grant. And a foul. Shot won't go. Boy, Gary Grant. 6 points, 3 assists, and some superb defense. And the crowd really getting into it here in the Rose Garden.
With the Trailblazers surging, Detlef Schrempf with the left hand right on the money to Ben Baker. But it's been Gary Grant who has become the Trailblazers' version of Jerome Kersey on the other side, making big plays, hustling, coming up with a big steal and a chance to go to the free throw line to make it a one-point contest if he gets both.
Grant, 10th year out of Michigan, 33 years old, an excellent veteran backup. He's played for Miami and the Knicks recently, of course, after those many, many long years with the Clippers.
Yeah, he said you had to bring that up.
Blazers, a perfect 10 for 10 from the free throw line.
8 1/4 for Grant, and it's more than made up for the loss of Sabonis and Wallace to keep the Trailblazers right there with the Sonics.
They were down 12. It's now a 1-point game. Payton flips inside. Beautiful move from Gary Payton. And he's shaking his head, wanting a foul as well. Shot clock turned off.
Now they got an open man in Ogben, and they're going to end up with an illegal defense against the Sonics.
That's the first, so just a warning.
Sonic's effort has really been kind of symbolized by Peyton in big moments and closing moments of the game or the half, and he comes up with a big one right there.
But of course, it's an illegal defense with under 24 seconds to go in a quarter. That's an automatic technical foul.
Mike Green all over it. All over the rule.
I'm a friend of an official. Ryder cannot connect. Ryder getting booed and now waving the crowd on, shaking his head. I'm going to wonder how much this is going to distract him.
Well, it's been part of his saga here as a Trailblazers. He's a love-hate type of individual, and when he does something wrong, they boo him. When he starts making hoops, they cheer for him. Stoudemire.
David Stoudemire from downtown. Ball goes out of bounds. And that's it. A 12-4 run by the Portland Trailblazers in the final 3 minutes of the second quarter. And they've tied it up. Vin Baker with that strong first half with 13 points. Gary Grant, huge lift off the bench, 8 points in 12 minutes. And we're tied at halftime here at the Rose Garden. We'll be joining Hannah Storm, John Sally, and Peter Vesey for the Prudential Halftime Report right after this timeout.
Game, I fully expect the outcome to be determined in the fourth quarter. Blazers coach Mike Dunleavy said Portland must move the ball better versus Seattle's double team. He said our shooters must be ready to take the shot when the ball gets to the weak side. Mike, back to you.
Thank you, Lisa. Rasheed Wallace very close there to picking up his fourth foul. Wallace only 2 points in the first half as Baker dumps it in. And if you're the Blazers, Steve, the fact that he was really ineffective and still tied, that's got to be a real plus for Portland.
A terrific first half for Portland, losing Sabonis and Wallace to foul and be able to come up with the grit and find a way to stay in the ball game. 10 rebounds for Grant. But Portland has got to be able to keep Sabonis and Wallace in the third quarter to have a chance in the fourth.
Sabonis also with the 3 fouls. Shot clock at 2. Stoudemire just gets it off in time. And Detlef Schrempf can't handle a rebound. It's Blazer ball.
Ben Baker knows that he has Sabonis at jeopardy whenever he comes out on the perimeter, and thinking about getting a fourth foul, spins inside, gets the opening basket of the third quarter for the Sonics.
Hawkins knocks it out. Baker, saying, as we mentioned earlier, likes to play against Sabonis, but he just likes playing against the Blazers because he's going against his former Milwaukee coach, Mike Dunleavy, who he enjoyed playing for, but now will enjoy even more beating. Ryder on the leaner. As we said, Ryder with that sprained wrist. He was quoted in today's paper, Steve, as saying anything outside of 16, 17 feet is a bit of a struggle, yet he's hoisting up those threes.
Well, he's a shooter, and one thing a shooter feels that any shot, once I get it going, the pain is going to go away. He's struggling, but maybe he'll just decide to stay inside. Air from Kersey.
Kersey had the big opening couple of minutes to settle down since then. Sabonis, nice feed from Grant. Then Arvydas Sabonis puts it in.
Nice finger roll, his first field goal of the ball game. So they've been able to keep Sabonis basically a score from the free throw line. Peyton.
Nobody picks him up. Peyton on the follow. Kersey. Sabonis yelling for some help underneath there. Kersey with a tough shot. Sabonis a bit of a primal scream. He's getting banged around, didn't have much help under. There you see Seattle, a team that has struggled rebounding, but hanging in with the tall Portland Trailblazers. Baker on Stoudemire. There's a mismatch somewhere. Stoudemire doesn't find it. Yells for a foul.
Portland has done a good job of keeping the Sonics from getting transition buckets. I mean, the Sonics used to live on fast break opportunities and haven't gotten many this afternoon. Ryder, deep.
There's a 3. He was 0 for 4. And he's playing to the crowd again. They booed him in the first half. And he had his hands going the other way, saying, okay, go ahead, boo me as much as you want.
No, he's saying, don't cheer, don't cheer. You know, and he's had this love-hate relationship with this crowd the entire season.
Baker makes his move over Sabonis. Then Baker now with 17. 1 point lead for the Blazers. Again, this game has playoff implications for Portland as well. They'll either play the Seattle team or the Lakers.
Last year on the final day of the season, the Trailblazers put the Lakers to sleep and were able to determine their first-round opponent. They wanted the Lakers, didn't do a good job against them. They say they might want the Sonics as we take a look at Ryder from downtown.
Again, it's your pick your poison with these two teams. Obviously, either series would open up on the road for Portland.
That's the key right there. You've got to be able, in the playoffs, you've got to be able to win on the road. Portland with a good offensive rebound from Grant, but knocked away by Kersey.
Hawkins, terrific save. 82nd game of the regular season, and these two teams going at it. Grant with the tip. Stoudemire, left-handed. The little lefty they call Mighty Mouse. Now with 9 points.
I like the attitude of both teams. I mean, when one team makes a good play, the other is coming right back and making a big play. A big steal by Grant to get Stoudemire in the open court for a finish.
This is the largest lead for Portland, only 3. But they've come back from 12 down. A Shrimp quiets the crowd momentarily. Both teams shooting around 42% from the field. Grant left wide open by Shrimp. Sabonis, loose ball foul call on Sabonis. That's his 4th.
After a nice open court steal by Grant, Damon Stoudemire puts the heat on the defense of the Sonics. That's one way you beat a trapping, double-teaming defense, beat them down the floor. Crowd did not like the call against Sabonis. That is his 4th. They're trying to get number 5, trying to go with Ben Baker against Sabonis.
Sabonis stays in the game. Ryder deflects it, but Baker now against Grant.
5 on the shot clock for Baker.
Then Baker, the follow. Ball tipped again and a loose ball foul called. This one going against Seattle.
Jerome Kersey, same kind of foul, a little push in the back. They caught Sabonis, they catch Kersey, you get the same reaction. Why? Why?
That'll leave you deciding, though, to keep him in there despite the 4 personals.
It's a huge gamble. Right now, you've got 6:57 left in this quarter, another 12 to play. That's 18 minutes. They want to get something from him because he affects the game, but got to be tough.
Draws the foul down the other end as Kersey picks up yet another one. Check that it's on Baker. 1-point lead for the Blazers.
Doubleheader next Saturday.
Portland Trailblazers, and in particular, the athleticism of Rasheed Wallace. Good fortune for Ben Baker. He was able to stay out of foul trouble. Wallace was not, but when Wallace was in the game, he was able to come up with some big defensive plays to keep the Sonics out of the interior of the defense. They look for Rasheed Wallace to have a big second half for the Portland Trailblazers.
And the numbers for the 2. Again, the fact that the Blazers still in the game despite just 2 points. As Baker's
in the middle, it's the bottom that is killing the league right now. And those are the guys that get on the line. Payton, nice spinning drive.
Gary Payton just his 3rd field goal. And as Lisa Milosky told us, George Karl, that's his #1 priority offensively, get Payton more shots.
Well, let's give some credit to Ryder. Ryder, for the most part, has been guarding him. The last hoop he got was against Damon Stoudemire.
Sabonis with the grunt and the shot. He'll go to the line again.
Stoudemire one-on-one against the offense of Gary Payton, and Payton loves that spin, goes baseline, and gets the window in 2. Sabonis playing right on the edge with 4 fouls, comes right back, attacking Ben Baker. Another chance for a pair of free throws. Baker,
that's his first foul. A foul we had said earlier was on Baker, was actually on Kersey, who has 3, so only 1.
Dance against Sabonis. Shot clock at 5.
Payton trying to find an opening. There it is. Shot will not go. Sabonis tips it. Stoudemire, the little guy, comes out. They only list Stoudemire at 5'11", and that's a reach, but he's got some strength that it's hard to push him around even for some of his size. Sabonis. Wallace. Or check that Grant on the tip. Grant.
A room service tip for Grant. It was spooned right out and right into his hands. He laid it back in. Portland by 4. But again, the story of the series has been Serge's Payton down the baseline to keep Sonics close.
Payton, who's been struggling shooting from outside in recent weeks, now deciding to take it to the hole. It's a 2-point Portland lead. Stoudemire against maybe the best defensive point guard in the NBA.
Nice move.
Beautiful fake, Damon Stoudemire. The 2-point guards putting on a little show here in the third. 11 points for Stoudemire. Payton again down the other end.
Payton saw that lane open up right at midcourt. Everybody went to sleep. He decided, I'm just going to go for it, beat the defense. 6 straight points for Payton. See if Stoudemire says, I got one left myself.
4.5 remaining in the third. Blazers by 2. Ryder forces it up, puts it in.
Ryder and Stoudemire, big third quarter. 7 for Ryder, 4 in the quarter for Stoudemire. Backcourt doing the job for Portland. A foul against Wallace.
And that's going to be Wallace's 4th foul. Wallace and Sabonis now with 4 each.
Stoudemire with a nice split, and this is a tough finish because he's going to have to finger roll from about 7 feet. Finishes that one off, and then Gary Payton from a long way out, recognizing the lane is open, and he gets 2. Frontline players, Wallace, Sabonis, both with 4 personal fouls. A gamble now again by Mike Dunleavy.
Steve, they've changed the call, and the Blazers got a break. The Ryder, they called him for the bump, not Wallace on the reach.
Well, Wallace will take that.
Yep.
That's a teammate.
So he still has 3. My mistake there. So Baker pulling up. Hawkins, that's a 3. Hawkins still scoreless. Stoudemire comes the other way.
Hawkins is not going to score if he doesn't look.
Oh, alley-oop! Stoudemire and Wallace. And they're on their feet at the Rose Garden. Timeout, Seattle.
Damon Stoudemire and Rasheed Wallace have developed that special chemistry, and when he gets in the open court, Stoudemire does a great job of finding him, and it's usually over the top with 2 hands, and the crowd loving every minute of it here this afternoon.
They have to play in the third.
The last game that they played February 18th, it was a game of surges as Payton dances down the lane again. And Portland led in the ball game. The Sonics came back. This game smells the same way, and Payton keeping the Sonics close.
They with 8 points in the period, 13 for the game. Wallace, Perkins, 7 on the shot clock. Rasheed Wallace, tough shot, won't go. Sabonis just tips it enough to get it to Augment. Ryder, 3-pointer will not go. Shrimp on the board. Shrimp losing control, but able to regain it.
So Portland has been able to buy some time. Sabonis has had 4 around the 6-minute mark. He has not picked up another one. Shrimp was right at the basket and gave it up.
Payton to drive. Gary Payton, what a third quarter he's having.
Count them. There have been 5 layups. Nothing but layups, and you got to stop the penetration of Payton. You got to make him a perimeter player at this point in the ball game.
The help defense not there for the Blazers. Last 10 points for Seattle, all from Gary Payton. Isaiah Ryder. You know, when he shot it from inside the 2-point range, he's been okay. His 3s haven't been going down, so maybe the wrist really is a reason for that.
Well, he made 1 3. I mean, I think you've also got to recognize if you're having a problem, make the toughest shot your bailout shot. Don't try to live on it. Baker.
The roll's not there, but a loose ball foul. And let's see if that is on Wallace. Yes, it is. Now Wallace has 4.
Gary Payton has been able to read the seams and beat the defense of the Trailblazers. Pump fake, gets them off the feet again. A tough finger roll. When you can launch it that far away and get it to go in, you're having a great afternoon. Nate McMillan back in the ball game. Hersey Hawkins down. Now, Nate McMillan came back on the 18th of February and hurt the Trailblazers with 3-point shooting. And if they're going to get to three-point shooting, it's probably going to have to come from either Hawkins or McMillan, and both are stone cold.
McMillan, one of the all-time intangible players. Such a leader on Seattle, still coming back from that knee injury from last year, the surgery. Perkins against Grant, who's come in for Wallace. Sam Perkins just flips it up and uses the glass.
He didn't call bank, but he'll take the hoop. But he fought the pressure. Good effort from Grant to try to make him take a tough shot and make it.
Sabonis deep inside. The flip won't go. Grant tries to keep it alive. McMillan able to get it to Perkins.
3-2 fast break.
Nice touch pass from Schrempf, but Baker can't handle it. 3-on-3 the other way. Although the Sonics quickly get back again in transition. Stoudemire. Oh, Damon Stoudemire.
Well, Stoudemire's forgotten about that ankle, and he's taken up the challenge of going one-on-one with Payton. He danced down the lane in a tough shot. Portland up by 4.
Damon Stoudemire with 13. 4-point lead for Portland. There's the time remaining in the third. Under a minute left. Schrempf. Mismatch. Ryder just gets him out far enough. Stoudemire the spin. Feed to Sabonis. Blocked. Baker got it. Sabonis screaming at the officials. Payton the move. Gary Payton putting on a show in the third. And a technical foul has been called on Sabonis, who was yelling at Joe DeRosa the entire length of the floor. Blazers cannot let the calls affect them. They played so well here and cannot lose their emotion, their control.
Well, Sabonis has had a tough time getting calls the entire afternoon. He thought he got hit on that one. As you see Ben Baker get a piece of the call, the reaction, and then the entire play went by Sabonis.
Schrempf hitting the technical.
The reaction of Dunleavy just as bad and dramatic as DeRosa could have taken his choice, but Schrempf makes the technical 1-point ball game.
Sabonis, though, because of the facial expressions and so demonstrative, it's almost like a cry wolf syndrome sometimes. That he argues on so many of them, the official's not going to listen to him.
Well, it happens if you're a player, if you're a team that's constantly begging for calls, the officials look the other way. So you've got to try to be selective in how you work the officials.
You pick your spots. Shot clock at 8. And there's a whistle. Nate McMillan now parking. McMillan picking up his third.
First in the last 2 minutes, so it won't be a shooter. The Sonics will see the Trailblazers set up for their final possession of the third quarter with a 1-point edge.
9.6 remaining.
Stoudemire lost it, now to control.
Anthony ahead to Payton's plenty of time to lay it in. And the Sonics defense regains the lead. Another steal. Anthony won't count as he released it after the buzzer. A wild third quarter. These two teams may meet in the first round of the playoffs. What a preview here this afternoon at the Rose Garden. The point guards doing their job here in the third quarter. Final regular season game, 1 quarter to play. Sonics a 1-point lead on the Blazers.
That has been the big saver for George Karl in the season series against the Trailblazers. Payton has been able to come up with big plays, but on the other side, Damon Stoudemire, this is only the second time he's played for Portland against Seattle, has had a surging third quarter himself. This is a very, very interesting and tough ball game. We talked about will. Chance for both teams to exert their will here in the fourth.
Greg Anthony. Stoudemire knocks it away. 3-on-1. The fake to Grant. Ryan Grant finishing it off. Stoudemire really coming around here in the second half.
And this matchup is what got Payton started, and Portland's going to have to keep him from getting layups here in the fourth quarter. They've got the Sonics out on the perimeter. Anthony.
The air ball on the 3 from Greg Anthony. One of their better three-point shooters. Anthony, Payton, McMillan, Kersey, and Perkins out there to start for Seattle here in the fourth. Stoudemire, Ryder, Walt Williams, Wallace, and Grant for Portland. Ryder left open. The tip by Grant won't go. McMillan comes away.
Now, the Sonics have an extremely small team out there. Tallest player out on the court is Sam Perkins, and they're going to go inside to Perkins and make them double team, try to shoot over the top, foul Grant.
Grant now picking up his third as Perkins will go to the free throw line. Leading scorers Payton. Again, he only had 5 at halftime. Ryder with 17. Stoudemire coming alive offensively in the third quarter as well.
Balanced attacks for both teams, and it kind of symbolizes the ball game. Both teams doing very well. A tight contest.
Walt Williams, as Payton will sit down. Walt Williams is called for that foul, not Grant. Hawkins will come back in.
Mike, you're seeing the first foul. You're getting just like the players now.
You know, I do have a whistle in my pocket.
Perkins misses them both.
Free throw is going to be important in this one. The physical nature of the game. Grant against McMillan, just powers in. Good recognition from Rasheed Wallace there.
Well, they're switching everything, and that's going to allow one of the big people, either Grant or Wallace, to be right at the basket to get something high percentage, and Grant's got both of the buckets to start the fourth.
Grant 12 points, 12 rebounds.
And with this lineup that the Sonics have out on the floor, Sam Perkins, Hersey Hawkins have to score the ball in order for the Sonics to stay in it. Big hook from Sam Perkins.
Perkins may be a little further out than he thought he was, but got the nice range on it. And a lead back to 1 for Portland.
Portland's got a better offensive unit out there. They got 5 players that can score the ball. If they're going to bust it open, this would be a time.
Grant drawing the foul just over 2 minutes gone by here in the fourth quarter. A 1-point game in favor of
what the point guard has to do is be able to read the situation and change or dictate the tempo of the ball game. And for the Sonics, it was Gary Payton who said, I've got to get involved offensively. Damon Stoudemire not only getting involved offensively, but making the big pass and play for his team. So point guard, one that is considered the best in the league right now, one that's right on his heels, having a heck of a ball game this afternoon, both of them.
Stoudemire has only been a member of the Blazers for 2 months. Don't forget he missed those 10 games. Ryder misses. Grant tries to keep it alive. Hawkins has it. Missed the 10 games with the ankle. And as you said earlier, Steve, that ankle looks pretty solid despite it being about 85% according to Stoudemire himself.
Damon, this is going to be his first opportunity to play in the playoffs, and he's got big game mentality himself. Kersey makes the rebound save. Hawkins can't finish.
Hawkins screaming at the official, Jim Kinsey. And a foul on Greg Anthony. Foul before the shot. Anthony yelling he felt that Stoudemire hooked him. And I have a feeling now you're going to see this game called a little tighter in the last couple of minutes. By the way, it's getting perhaps a little out of hand.
Anthony Grinnan, yeah, he did foul him, but he was hoping that he was going to get the hook before that. Ben Baker coming back in, takes some pressure off of the unit that the Sonics have out there on the floor. Perkins gets a breather, so it's going to be Baker and Hersey Hawkins that are going to have to carry the offensive load over the next couple of minutes.
Stoudemire an open 3. Baker the rebound. Anthony makes his drive. Greg Anthony with an impressive hoop. This is exactly what George Karl needs from him when Payton gets his rest. Maybe only 10 to 15 minutes tops, but it's important 10 to 15 minutes.
Well, what he's doing is making Damon Stoudemire work real hard just to get up the floor, taking time off the clock. Tough shot, Ryder won't stay.
Wallace, loose ball foul. They call it on him?
Yeah, he came over the top, and, in all of the rebound collisions that we've had, that call has not been called a lot this afternoon. But for Wallace, it seems as though he's the red light, and they've got his number 5 for him.
So Wallace will sit down. Words for Danny Crawford as he heads to the bench. Stacey Augmon back in.
Again, one of the things that Wallace and all of the Trailblazers are going to have to do when they get into playoffs is check their emotions. They're going to have calls go against them. They're going to have to fight through it.
Seattle by 1. 3.5 gone by. Fourth quarter. Baker and Grant. Augmon helps.
Going to come back to Baker. 7 on the shot clock.
Baker makes his move. Tough shot from Baker. And Walt Williams the rebound in traffic. Along with Steve Jones and Lisa Milosky, Mike Breen on hand at the Rose Garden. Final regular season game.
With the exception of a couple of possessions, Portland's been able to keep them from getting a lot of offensive rebounds. So it's been one shot. If they make it, it's good. Otherwise, Portland's coming the other way. Portland has dominated the boards. And again, if you're going to lose the board, you better make shots, and that's going to be the story for the Sonics. Back to Baker.
Baker, hard foul by Augmon. Grant right there as well. This one is really turning physical. Stacey Augmon picking up his second.
Good quick entry pass, and Grant is on his heels, and Augmon comes back in to give a little help. Off Baker balance. It looked a lot worse than it actually was. Baker's going to get a pair of free throws.
So Baker again, as we said, under 60% from the line. There you see tie now in the fourth from the Forum.
Jazz won't go away. They've been down by 8 the entire afternoon. Another close encounter for Utah and the Lakers. Miami in a little bit of a slump at the wrong time. Atlanta getting hot.
Remember the repercussions from today as Baker misses the first. Blazers win and the Lakers win. It'll be Portland and Seattle in the first round. The Lakers lose, or I should say if the Blazers lose, regardless of the LA outcome, they'll face the Lakers in the first round.
Missed them both. Now, if you're Portland, you got to think about this. Vin Baker's all of a sudden tight at the line. Closing moments, if you have to put him on the line, he's probably going to come up with a miss or two for you.
Gary Grant, huge spark in the first half, back in now. He's out there with Stoudemire. Stoudemire gets a running start, and they nail him for the travel.
The defense of the Sonics, which was good in the first quarter and at the top of the second, hasn't been nearly as good here in the third quarter or the fourth. Portland's offensive patience much better, but this is a tight game with Payton back in.
That's their 14th turnover, but remember they had 7 in the first quarter. They've only had 7 since then, so they've handled the pressure. Anthony, a 3. Long rebound. Stoudemire tips it out, but Anthony's there. Payton, as you see, back in the game.
A couple of guys that have got to score the ball down the stretch other than Payton. Detlef Schrempf and Hersey Hawkins to relieve some of the pressure off of Payton and Baker. 9 on the clock.
Anthony, 4 on the 24. Payton, wide open 3. It's good. Gary Payton from downtown. And the Sonics up by 4.
Against Portland, he has been a killer, and those are the types of plays that he seems to come up with as Portland's looking for a timeout. They finally take it.
A 7-0 run right now by the Seattle Supersonics. 6:32 remaining, fourth quarter. A 4-point lead. You're watching the NBA on NBC for the Sonics.
Big 6 minutes to go, and Portland with 2 players that have had to play in foul trouble have been able to stay close with Sabonis and Wallace in foul problems. Hersey Hawkins in a battle with Ryder will pick up a personal foul here.
Third on Hawkins, third team foul. Hawkins, you saw that elbow come across. That's what he was complaining about. It's been interesting. Both sides have complained about every call here in the fourth quarter.
Well, it means a lot for both teams. And I think for the Trailblazers, they want to demonstrate to themselves and to the Sonics that they can beat them in a big game. There's going to be another foul here on a hold.
Detlef Schrempf called for that on the loose ball. Third on Schrempf, 14th foul.
You know, every game in the series between Portland and Seattle over the last 2 years has been close, but Portland has been seeing themselves come up the loser, and they want to be able to crack that.
Ryder for 3. Isaiah Ryder from downtown. And it's a 1-point game again. Seattle with the lead as we're midway through the fourth.
To finish the thought, they want to be able to crack that stranglehold that the Sonics have been able to have on them. Big games, big closing moments, big plays have all gone to the guys in green. Ben Baker.
Baker hits a tough shot. You know, we talked to Brian Grant yesterday, and he said the Sonics, they're a team that make you feel like you can beat them. They tease you, but all of a sudden, at the end of the game, you lose.
Yeah, a lot of times that is the way it's gone for the Sonics over the years. Portland has been the victim, and so you've got to have a sense that, yeah, you can play with this team, but until you beat them, they always feel that they have that edge. 5 on the shot clock.
Stoudemire, Sabonis, Grant, the offensive rebound, hacked. And Brian Grant will shoot a couple. Greg Anthony picks up the foul. And that's his second.
Remember, Mike, you talk about the risks. Look at that follow through. Nothing wrong with that one. So it's just Ryder being able to dial in. He's going to miss some. He's going to make some. He's had some huge makes for Portland here in the second half.
Brian Grant, who signed the big free agent contract in the offseason, missed 18 games with that stretch reaction in his left leg. Just getting back to where he wants to be. Hits the first one. Of course, the NBA playoffs begin on Thursday night on TNT and TBS. Oh, what a wild playoff run it should be. Some great first-round matchups, including what could be Portland-Seattle as Grant hits a pair.
Well, if you want it, then you got to have players that are going to step up and make the big plays for you. We've seen both teams find surges and guys off the bench to come up with unexpected efforts. Almost an air ball from Anthony.
Stoudemire pushing it up the floor. Ryder has Payton on him. They look for Sabonis. Sabonis takes out his mouthpiece as the norm, looks at the official, and heads up the floor.
Well, as I said before, he doesn't like physical play, and if you put a body on him, it seems to throw him off balance. He's looking for a call, doesn't get one. Grant against Payton.
Grant will pick it up. Sabonis, 1 of 8 from the field. He's 9 of 10 from the line, but has struggled a bit. That's the third foul on Grant.
Sabonis is much better if he can catch the ball on the move, doesn't have to fight the contact. A lot of times he lays the ball out there, hoping the officials are going to give him a whistle, and it hasn't happened for the entire season. Wallace is going to come back in, 4:41. Grant goes down. Now you watch the effort as he gets massaged pretty good by the Sonics thrown out of the play, but he doesn't like that kind of play, and this is the type of game that he's going to have to adjust to in the playoff. Ben Baker, quick spin.
And a foul on Sabonis. That'll be his 5th. So Sabonis and Wallace both with 5. They both remain on the floor. Lakers down by 1 in the 4th. Shaquille O'Neal having a big second half of the Forum.
Won't matter if they lose that ball game. Again, the story for the Lakers will be great regular season, but when you've had to win a big game against somebody like the Utah Jazz, haven't been able to get it done. That is 3 straight misses for Ben Baker, and this is a guy you want to put on the line if the game is tight in the closing moment.
He's now 3 of 8. Schrempf, though, tips it out to Payton, but Baker 3 of 8 from the free throw line for the game. Hawkins stripped. Boy, the defensive effort has been there right from the get-go from both squads here today.
Hawkins has had a miserable afternoon, is trying to find some way to get in it and redeem himself, looking for a mismatch. Stoudemire against Sam Perkins.
Boxing out from Payton denies Grant. Gary Payton, an excellent rebounder at the point. Hersey Hawkins still scoreless.
And he passed up Detlef Schrempf. You know, the choices, and I think that Payton was thinking, I get Hawkins in the game, but Schrempf probably had the better shot.
Ryder, tough shot from Ryder. And the Blazers back up by 1. Ryder saying he got bumped as well.
And that's why you got to live and die with Ryder, because he's a big clutch player, and he can make some amazing shots. Huge one for Portland, 3:28 to go in the game.
Ryder. Detlef Schrempf, 3-pointer. Schrempf answers back.
See, that was the shot he had the last time, and they didn't give him the ball. Payton doesn't make the same mistake.
They're 4 of 17 from downtown, 23%, well below their league leading average. Well, that's a huge basket from Detlef Schrempf. Stoudemire on the fake. Stoudemire on the push. Grant mistimed his jump. And Hawkins comes out of the pack. 3-on-2 break for Seattle. Baker hammered. by Ryder, and Baker will shoot 2 more.
In big games, you got to have guys that can make big plays on their own, and that's exactly what J.R. Ryder is capable of doing. This is a hanging, adjusting jumper that catches nothing but cotton.
I've got some great.
Grant pulling down another rebound, his 15th of the game.
Huge rebounding afternoon for Grant. And again, think about the Trailblazers without Wallace having a good afternoon, they're saddled by fouls. Without Sabonis, tough shot Wallace.
Oh, Rasheed Wallace. He only has 6 points, but that brings the Blazers within 2.5 remaining.
To finish that thought, the Blazers are right there at the door, down by 1.
Ryder is on Payton. Payton makes his move in the lane. Gary Payton, 24 for the game. Seattle by 3.
That runner has been money for Payton this afternoon and a dagger for the Trailblazers.
Lakers, you see, up by 3, late 4th. Wallace against Shrimp. Baker helps out. Shot clock at 8. Isaiah Ryder forces it up and puts it in. Isaiah Ryder, 7 of his 24 in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, the boys from Oakland are having a good time this afternoon. Payton and Ryder going at each other.
1 point Seattle lead. Wallace close to picking up his 6th foul there.
Shot clock at 9. Baker with the ball trying to go by Sabonis.
Baker with Sabonis, a hand in his face, in and out. Grant pulls down another huge rebound, and the Blazers with a chance to take the lead with 1.5 minutes remaining. Wallace deflected by Perkins. Still Blazer ball, 12 left on the 24.
This is Rasheed Wallace on a tough floater from the baseline. He hadn't had many chances to get involved in the ball game, and that was a big effort from him, but an answering hoop by Gary Payton to keep the Sonics ahead by 3, and it's been that kind of a ball game the entire afternoon. One big play followed by another one. 1 point ball game.
And there you see Seattle has fared well in the close games. Portland has done well as well, playing a little bit more. And this one you just knew was going to come down to the final minutes. 1:20 remaining. A 1-point lead for Seattle.
You can
with the ball.
Mike, you can almost say that both teams need this game just as badly as the other. Seattle, who's been sagging since the 65-game mark, 10-6, they need to win a big game. They haven't been able to do it in the last 16, 17 games. Portland needs to rebound from some tough losses and show that they can step up and win a big game. Losing to Denver, bounce back, beat Seattle, be ready to go first round of the playoffs.
Some of the big names have come up with big games this afternoon, including Gary Payton. Blazers turn now. Sabonis across the lane, won't go, deflected out, and it's going to be Seattle ball with 1:11 remaining.
Sabonis extended, lost a lot of his leg energy, and just left it short, tried to get it back and knocked the ball out of bounds. This is a big defensive stop for the Trailblazers.
Stoudemire picks up Payton on the switch. Payton makes his move, puts it in, and a foul. Gary Payton, sensational play, and a chance for a 3-point play.
Well, you don't have to be too bright as a coach to say, I got to get Gary Payton involved in this ball game when he's only got a couple of points at the break. Dancing down the lane, off balance, squeezes that one down, and now a chance for a 3-point play. Got it.
Payton with 22 points in the second half, 27 for the game. And more importantly for Seattle, gives them a 4-point lead. 59.1 seconds remaining in the regular season. Seattle by 4.
A quick hitting play, not taking a lot of time off the clock in order to get it done.
There you see the Lakers just hanging on. Sabonis makes his move. Arvydas Sabonis in and out, Shrimp the rebound. And Sabonis, frustrated, has fouled out of the game. And free throws coming up for Detlef Shrimp.
Not much else you can ask for Sabonis on that opportunity. A free wheel inside. He took his favorite shot, a nice hook coming across the middle. Been an afternoon where he hasn't seen the ball go down, and then trying to get back to it. They get a foul against Sabonis on Detlef Shrimp. Shrimp, of course, better than 80% throughout his career. These are big free throws for Shrimp and the Sonics. 84%
for Shrimp this year. Sabonis 1 of 10 from the field. He hit 9 of 10 free throws, but was frustrated and fouls out in 34 minutes of play.
Historically, Sabonis has had a very tough time playing against the Sonics because of the foot speed, the quickness, the fact that they take him outside, the physical play. He's never really been able to get into this team and feel good about playing against them.
Schrempf, it's the free throw. Sonics just 59% from the line, but Schrempf is perfect on all 4 of his attempts.
And you get the right people shooting them, your percentage goes up.
And the 6-point lead is the largest of the second half for the Sonics. 43.6 seconds remaining. Portland has the ball, but they're down 6. 8 of the 27 in the fourth, 22 of the 27 in the second half where he's come alive. Isaiah Rider and Damon Stoudemire coming alive in the second half, but maybe a little too little for Portland as they'll have the ball.
Walt Williams in the ball game, a deep threat for the Trailblazers. First thing is get the ball inbound. What Portland's got to think is get a score. They don't necessarily have to take a 3, but they're looking for 3.
Air ball, Stoudemire. Payton defended it well. Williams with the quick steal. They're thinking 3.
Now the Sonics are defending 3. So
Hawkins with the steal, knocked it out. It's still Portland ball, but you're right, Steve. They did not have to go for the 3 right away.
You know, they wanted to cut that lead in half and maybe change the game possession situation. But I think when you're in a situation, you're down 6, you got to take the quick score. They got Ben Baker, Sam Perkins out on the floor. Maybe think about fouling if you get the quick 2.
I believe he's going to call timeout. And especially the way the Sonics have shot free throws here this afternoon. Hawkins with the steal. And that will clinch it.
If you're Portland, you got to stop the clock. You know, all they're going to do is dribble it out. So you're down, and if you want any chance to make any kind of play, you've got to stop the clock. They finally do. 5 seconds go off. But Hersey Hawkins, who has not been a factor in this game at the offensive end, comes up with a big sigh of relief for George Karl. But this is a steal that probably sealed the deal for the Sonics. Long cross-court pass. And Hersey Hawkins finally pulls it in.
Hawkins did not play well this afternoon offensively, did not score. This is his first trip to the line. He's one of the best free throw shooters in the league. But George Karl with a huge sigh of relief. It's been a rough season for him in his final year of the contract, despite winning 3 60-win seasons in his last 5 years. A lot of people scratching their heads as to why the new deal hasn't been made, but they'll talk about it after the season is over. Lead is up to 8. Final seconds. Stoudemire
lost control of the ball. The ball and the game is over as Payton will dribble this one out, and the Sonics did what they had to. Portland challenged all the way, but the difference was Gary Payton in this ball game as it has been in the season series.
So the Sonics clinched the Pacific Crown and the 2nd seed in the playoffs. They'll face Minnesota in the opening round. Portland, off the loss, will play the LA Lakers as Seattle gets their 61st win of the season. Let's go to Lisa Milowski.
Thanks a lot, Mike. George Karl, 3rd straight Pacific Division championship. You're emotional, I can tell right now.
I don't know. You know, we did it the hard way, and I really love the guys, and it's been my most enjoyable season. So, yeah, it is. I know it's hard, but I really have a lot of feelings for these guys, and I'm happy they got it.
Like you said, it didn't come easy, but 61 victories this season. You head into the playoffs. You'll be playing Friday, Sunday against Minnesota at home.
Well, it's been incredible. I never thought we could win 61, but I think now we've moved ourselves into that level of we're a contender, and take a couple days off and get excited about that.
George, predict ahead for us with these Seattle Supersonics. You do have a veteran team, but you say you take an older team that can play like this, shoot the 3-pointers. Dale Ellis will be back. Talk about heading into the playoffs.
Well, I just like the heart of my team more than ever before. I like the professionalism. I think we got old guys that know they don't have many more chances left, and I think they're going to give me everything they have in the gas tank. And that's all I can ask. You know, we have some great teams out west that we're going to have to, you know, contend with. And in Minnesota, with those 2 young kids and everybody else playing well, Minnesota's playing great. So it's the regular season starts on Friday.
Well, I'll tell you what, George, this was playoff intensity tonight. Thanks a lot for a great game. Let's go back to you, Mike.
All right, Lisa. If the playoffs started right now today, of course they'll start on Thursday. It's the Lakers and Portland. That series will begin in LA. As for Seattle, they'll have the home court, of course, against Minnesota, and they now will get the home court in the second round, most importantly if they face the LA Lakers. Well, the Lakers certainly losing twice to Portland this year is not going to be an easy matchup for the Lakers.
It's not, but it tells you just how special the West is going to be come playoff time, because the competition is very tight and even.
So Seattle wins 90-82 for Steve Jones and Lisa Molosky. This is Mike Breen from Portland. Let's go to Tom Hammond and Bill Walton in Los Angeles.
Tom Hammond, Bill Walton, Jim Gray at the Forum in Los Angeles, where the Lakers lead the Jazz 100-94, 22 seconds left. Welcome to those of you who saw Seattle wrap up the Pacific Division with that 90-82 win over Portland. The Lakers were hoping the Trailblazers could pull it off, but they will settle for second in the division as the Sonics wrap it up no matter what happens here in the final 22 seconds. Seattle finishing 61-21. Lakers hoping to do the same, but they would lose the tiebreaker to Seattle.
Tom, there were 4 teams in the NBA that won 60 games for the first time in history. Oh, what are the Lakers fouling for?
And it's Shaquille that commits the foul.
For the first time in history, 4 teams won 60 games. 3 of them in the Western Conference, Utah, Seattle, and the Lakers. Chicago Bulls, of course, from the tougher, more balanced Eastern Conference. It's interesting that all 4 of those coaches with great seasons have been under considerable fire, and their future in question for next year. What a crazy league.
Jerry Sloan and Dale Harris, 2 of those coaches you mentioned. Utah with 62 victories, the Lakers looking for 61.
Now the only thing to be decided is home court in the San Antonio and Phoenix first-round matchup. Phoenix, of course, plays tonight, 5 o'clock at Houston local time. And the game they have to win to get that home court. And Rex Chapman, unfortunately, is not going to play for the Phoenix Suns, so they'll be shorthanded. And San Antonio plays later tonight against the Denver Nuggets.
Nick Van Exel at the Laker free throw line with 18.6 seconds. Van Exel's had a good game, 18 points on 7 of 10 shooting. Also has 7 assists.
And that's a real good sign for the Lakers.